vaccinations in the country have reduced by almost half in the first week of May compared to the first week of April. Then we were doing about 42 lakh vaccines a day. Now it's come down to almost 18 lakhs in the last week. What's going wrong? Why is there a vaccine shortage as some states are claiming on the ground? Or is it also about vaccine wastage? And what about the long queues of people that are gathering around vaccination centers? All of this is part of our top focus today. Take a look.
There is shortage, and then there is wastage. This sums up the current status of India's vaccination drive. After touching a peak of 42 lakh doses administered on a single day on April the 2nd, the number is on a steady decline. And now it's been averaging 18 lakh doses daily. And this is really hurting India's fight against COVID. Mumbai's Bandra Kurla complex Jumbo Vaccination Centre only had a few hundred doses to begin with.
This was a fantastic experience, a drive-through and well managed, and we did not have any difficulty.
It was the second dose, sir?
This is the second dose. And I was waiting for this because in between Covishield was out of stock.
Correct.
And it's good news that it has arrived now.
Despite the long wait, people are coming out in huge numbers to get themselves vaccinated.
Sir, how long have you been waiting?
1 hour.
And how long it will take?
Still, I think it will take 3 hours.
3 more?
Yeah.
And you're okay with that?
Yeah. No option, no other option.
Well, that's a Mumbaikar speaking about the drive-in vaccination center which has been done right here at the Kohinoor Center in Dadar area of Mumbai. And this particular drive-in, as you can see, it's on the arterial road of Mumbai, wherein these vehicles have been queued up by the traffic police. They try to ensure that there is no traffic. And the people keep waiting here in these queues which lead up to the vaccination center.
For the 18 to 44 age group category individuals, the situation isn't too promising in and around Delhi. Neither at government-run centres.
You cannot find any schedule to get vaccinated if you are between 18 to 44. So there are no slots available. There are various CHCs here, PHCs here, but none of them are available. Also in private hospitals, I have seen in Max, they are charging 900 for a vaccine, for a shot. So yeah, that's not, vaccine is not available for 18 to 44. No, not at all.
Nor at private hospitals.
I'm not sure, like we are calling the private hospital also, but we are not getting any response. They said they don't have any stock right now. So whenever the stock will come, they'll inform us. So we are still waiting.
For those who get lucky and get a chance to book a slot, many blame the wastage for the jab crunch in several states. The maximum wastage of vaccines have been found in Tamil Nadu, Assam, Manipur and Haryana among major states, according to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. A little more than 16 crore people have been partially vaccinated since the country's vaccination program began on January the 16th this year. If the pace of vaccination continues the way it's been, it would take nearly 3 years to cover the entire country. With Vidya and Mustafa Sheikh in Mumbai and Abhishek in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's then raise the big questions on this critical issue of India's fight against COVID. How do you accelerate the vaccination drive? Why has it slowed down? What is the solution to increase the pace? Should the center be distributing vaccines free for all to all states? Should there be compulsory licensing for all vaccines to increase production and manufacturing? Joining me now, Dr. Naresh Trehan, Chairman and Managing Director at Medanta. Dr. Sapan Pandya is immunologist with the COVID Vaccine Task Force in Gujarat. Dr. Rahul Pandit is member of the Maharashtra COVID Task Force and with Fortis Hospital. And Dr. Joseph Brito is infectious disease specialist and someone who's worked as a CEO with an American MNC as well. Appreciate all of you joining me at this moment. I want to come to you, Dr. Trehan, first. Let's look for solution. There is a serious problem. Vaccinations have dropped from 42 lakhs per day in the first week of April to 18 lakhs a day in the first week of May. What do you see now as a solution? Because people are now struggling to get either their second dose or, in the case of those between 18 to 44, even their first. Your response, Dr. Trehan.
So Rajdeep, if you look at what was happening in our country before this new announcement from May 1, segment by segment, it was being opened for people to be vaccinated, and we, as in the private space and also the government, they got their quota equally distributed around the country, and from the government, we could go and buy the dosage required by us on a daily or weekly basis, depending on the availability. That meant one thing, that because the total quantum of vaccine available in the country was still limited or short, that the numbers that we were able to vaccinate was a little less than what we would have liked to do. So coupled with vaccine hesitancy and the fact that we were opening up slowly, we reached the stage of 45 and above. Of course, there is a big need for opening up to 18, but along with the opening up for the age, the whole system was, you can say, redesigned. And in the redesign of this new system, there has been chaos. Now what has happened is, three segments have happened. One is the central government, which is saying we'll give it free. Then there is the state governments who have ordered it, and they are going to give it free or charge the fee at the rate that they are given the vaccine at. And then it is to be given to the private sector by the companies. So what happens is, when you have a shortage and the demand is higher, there is bound to be a clamor from the private industry and the private players to go and rush and book as much as they can grab to say, I have it. What it has done actually is created so much disruption that the smaller guy, where we need to take these vaccines to the tier 2, tier 3, and even to the villages, that they don't have any capacity to go and deal with Serum Institute or biotech to say, okay, we will order 100,000, 50,000, 10,000, because it's a huge amount of money. If you order 50,000 vaccines, you have to pay a check of 30 crores. If you need 1,000 vaccines, you can divide it by 50, and then it will be 30 lakhs. So the basic thing is that we need to redesign the system. In my view, we go back to a similar system as we had, because till the vaccine is in short supply, we keep opening segment by segment and allow the 18-year and above to make a booking for themselves, so that two things will happen. One, there are a large number of people who are stuck with one dose and are not getting the second dose because there is no vaccine. Now, even so, it was allowed by the government that first 5 states will open. What about the rest of the states? Are they going to be in animated suspension for a long period of time? People are panicking. I mean, we have got abusive calls from our people who have been vaccinated once to say, where is my second dose? We don't have any vaccine. So there is this, the whole system needs to be.
But that's because the center did not place enough firm orders. But Dr. Trehan, sorry to intervene, that's also because the center did not place enough firm orders in time and decided suddenly to open up after May 1. The question is, should we now centralize it all again? Should it all be centralized, and should the center then distribute it to everyone, including small hospitals, and keep ramping it up?
It's easy to say what you're saying. Just 1 second. Now, when you open a Pandora's box, you must go through every aspect of it.
Yes.
Now you're saying the government did not order vaccines. From where? The basic thing is, every country is short of vaccine. India has the largest. Now Sputnik has to be ramped up. Serum Institute has to be ramped up. Biotech has to be ramped up. And we can, wherever we can find vaccines which are suitable for Indian conditions, they should be, and the government has given that policy, that in a 3-day process, they will approve an already approved vaccine if it is approved by FDA or UK or Europe. Okay, now how many of them are coming forward to say,
yes,
I have to give you? Nobody. Pfizer is short of supply because they can't even supply their old commitments. Johnson has put out that maybe we'll give, we have 10, 20 million we can give. That's not going to make a difference to us. The basic thing is ramp up the production.
Yes.
And acquire it from wherever it's available. So we know Sputnik is going to be manufactured, but not in large numbers yet. But hopefully next month we will get a supply. But while we do this, go through this process, we must have an orderly vaccinating process. We cannot say it's free market. So I can maybe corner it, somebody else may corner it, but then it is not equitable. Then it is actually anti-national. And how much am I going to charge to inject? The government should fix the rate and say, why should we look at the logic. I charge 100 rupees, the government allowed 100 rupees to give the vaccine. Now the cost of vaccine has gone up, okay, but has my cost of delivery gone up? No. My cost of delivery is only added up that my cost of acquiring the vaccine is more, I have to invest a little more money, and proportionally my fee should be increased, not a free market. So that's why I'm saying my point is very, very, very clear. Let us revisit it. Let there be a proper consultation between the government, the states, and the private sector. Private sector is not a part of it. So we should say, this is the proportion in which we will go. It's a clear mandate. You people can go and buy like this and distribute into your district, so that even in the private sector, if I'm given Haryana or I'm given 5 states that I'm in, I'll say, okay, this will be my calculated demand, which I will distribute in the private sector, so that the small guy, that nursing home who needs 100 vials, at least can get it.
Yes.
This way, they are totally shut out. I got a call from one of the doctors in Mau, which is Varanasi. That saying, can I get 50 vials from you? I said, I have 0, because I didn't want to go and corner any vaccine. I'm saying, let there be an equitable system, which must be, otherwise they will be, the blame game will continue, and it's not good for the state government, it's not good for the central government, it's not good for the private sector. So today I have a very clear thinking.
I'm going to come back. Let me come back to you on this point in a moment, because you're raising very, very important issues of redesigning the entire system. And I just want to come to you, Dr. Rahul Pandit, because I'm going to play pictures of what happened in Mumbai yesterday. Mumbai has 147 vaccination centers. However, a number of the smaller ones are struggling to get vaccines. Even though Serum is located in Pune, a number of them have thrown their hands up. So what happened yesterday? The crowds assembled at the giant jumbo center. There was no social distancing till finally order was restored. Now I am told the Mumbai Municipal Corporation has issued a clear order that those between the age of 18 and 45 for their first dose will have to register on the site and only then get vaccines. There will be no walk-ins in any of these vaccination centers. The point is, it appears that the government rushed to say that from May 1st, we will vaccinate all between 18 and 44 without having the vaccinations on the ground. Should we redesign now, as Dr. Trehan is suggesting, the entire system for a while till there are enough vaccines available in the system?
Hi, Rajiv, thank you very much for having me on the show. I think there needs to be some sort of redesigning, whether what Dr. Trehan is saying or we need to visit a little bit differently for this. I am not very confident that any system which we put in right now would straight away work. So we need to probably not reinvent the wheel, but go back to the system which was actually in place and see if that can work well. Because there are very, very important points which Dr. Trehan said. One is that small players, they will never be able to procure vaccine. Only multi-chain hospitals, private hospitals will be able to procure vaccine. Two, I think vaccine wastage in this time is almost criminal. We should not be wasting vaccine. If there is a vaccine wastage of 8%, 7% in some of the states, we need to put in strong protocols that we actually utilize every drop of the vaccine which is there. And coming to the question of redesigning, I think I am very clear that we need to do a system which was working for us, talk to the vaccine manufacturers, bring them onto the table and tell them that, look, we need to have an equitable system, involve all the players, the public, the private and the central government and the state government, of course, and then have a system where everybody gets the vaccine and then you actually roll.
No, Dr. Pandit, no, Dr. Pandit, let's cut the chase. How do you do that? Let's be clear. Should the center be placing all the orders and distributing it to states as per quotas? Should the states place the order? Because clearly, as Dr. Trehan also suggested, small hospitals are in no position to directly negotiate with the manufacturers.
Look, I can talk about Maharashtra. Maharashtra is, being quoted up, and the Honorable CM has already said that he's ready to buy the entire 2 doses of the vaccine, which is required for the whole population, which can be vaccinated. But where is the vaccine? Vaccine is not available. That's the problem. So one person needs to place the order. If that's how it has to, it can be the center. But then they should take the required number of vaccines from each state and then distribute it equitably. That can be the easier way to do it. But whether that happens or not is a very difficult question to answer. I just don't have any answer for that. And I completely agree with Dr. Trehan that it's a very difficult solution. We may have to just go back to the same way that center distributes it to all. That's what I would say.
Center distributes it to all, but the fact is there are only 2 companies primarily whom we are relying on, Bharat Biotech, and we are relying on Serum Institute. Has the time come to to in a way, Dr. Brito, find compulsory licensing to ensure therefore that many manufacturers in India's pharma industry can all get involved in the manufacturing of vaccines? Does India need what you've described in a recent article, Dr. Brito, very interestingly, as a moonshot moment? The moonshot moment is needed to ramp up India's vaccinations urgently.
Rajdeep, thank you for focusing on this colossal problem that we as a nation face. In 1961, the then US President Kennedy committed the nation that an American would walk on the moon within a decade. I think Prime Minister Modi needs to make a moonshot decision now and commit the country that we will either procure or produce vaccine doses for 1 billion Indians for every pandemic cycle. And to do that, as Dr. Pandit and Dr. Trehan have suggested, we need a vaccine agency, a central vaccine agency that is managed by technocrats. That starts off in the first instance with the procurement and purchase of vaccine. Rich countries like the US, the UK, and Canada have stockpiles of vaccine far in excess of their requirements. We should leverage our relationship that we have with these countries.
Because we gave only 11 million orders in January for 1.4 billion people. We gave 11 million orders, Dr. Brito, in January for 1.4 billion people. That's crazy. And now we are trying to simply sort of catch up. We are playing catch up. Even with all the orders that Serum will bring by June, we are going to be nowhere close to vaccinating those between 18 and 44, Dr. Brito. So what do? How do we procure and produce in double quick time?
So either we leverage our relationships to get donations or pay fair market price. The US dollar cost of the vaccines that are available, the Pfizer, Moderna, the biotech vaccines that are currently available in USA, UK, and Canada are in the range of about 1,500 to 3,000 rupees. The cost of 1 dose of remdesivir is about 3,500 rupees. We should either get donated or purchased by fair price all vaccine doses that are stockpiled with our partner rich countries and get that into our country as we speak. But that has to be done under aegis of a central vaccine agency. Procurement is only the first stopgap, self. The crucial second step, Rajdeep, is that the vaccine agency needs to get into, as you said, licensing arrangements. The WTO noises that are coming out of the G7 meeting, the wavering of TRIPS is a long shot. It will not happen for weeks. But what we need to do is to get into licensing arrangements. There are 20 vaccines that are currently, 4 of them are in phase 4, which means the vaccines are being used extensively and surveillance data is being collected. But there are 17 that are in phase 3, efficacy, either completed or to be completed. All 21 of these vaccines, we need to, agnostic to where they are produced, in which country they are produced, agnostic to that, get into licensing arrangements. The Central Vaccine Agency then does deals to purchase their stockpiles, sign licensing agreement, and use our robust Indian pharmaceutical industry, which has the capacity currently to produce 8.2 billion doses of all types of vaccines. We can't shelve the production of the other vaccines, but we do have the inherent ability to ramp up with our licensing partners abroad to meet this demand, because we will need 1 billion Indians to be vaccinated at every pandemic cycle. And just quickly, two more things that we need to do. Every vaccine center that has vaccines available tomorrow needs to work like hospitals do in shifts. We cannot have timings and slots given out by the CoWIN app that are from 9 to 4. We need to work round the clock, because vaccines don't save lives, vaccinations do. A vaccine sitting on the shelf is of little use. A vaccine needs to be administered. And as Dr. Pandit said, wastage is criminal. We need to find ways to fix wastage as soon as possible. But my last point, if I may. The vaccine agency also needs to invest in gene sequencing. We cannot produce platforms in our country with our foreign partners unless we have investment into gene sequencing. If you don't know the genetic information of a variant, you don't know what the source is, you don't know whether it's a fresh zoonotic infection, meaning jump species from animals or birds to humans, or whether this is a variant of concern for which we need to adapt our vaccine platform for our vaccines to be effective. Over.
Right. Okay. Very, very interesting points you put. I like the way you said over there. Dr. Pandya, vaccine wastage. You're part of the COVID task force in Gujarat. Tamil Nadu, Assam was, but every state, we're finding about 300,000 vaccine vials have got wasted. Is there a solution? I mean, you know, it appears at the moment that we don't have a solution to vaccine wastage. Do you see a solution, Dr. Pandya?
Thank you, Rajdeep, for having me on the show. I haven't seen that much of wastage. I'm not aware of that much of wastage, at least in the state of Gujarat, from whatever I know. But I think there are technical aspects and logistics aspects to what we are discussing. I'd like to focus more on the technical aspects. The first thing is that we have to know, this all began because of complacency in January when we had the cases coming down and we were not serious about the vaccines, taking the vaccine. So we had to educate people. I think two things are clear. Number one, let's not forget that vaccines reduce mortality, and it has definitely happened so in terms of healthcare workers. If you look at the number of people who've died, it's definitely lesser than last year. The second thing is, if you look at the CT scans, as a clinician, I know they're definitely better than people who have not been vaccinated. So the first thing that needs to be hammered is that vaccines are definitely saving lives, and that's the first aim that we need to fulfill. The other thing is that we can identify, what do we do with the vaccine which is available once they are available, because we'll still be short of the number of vaccines. The first thing to do is to identify patients, people who have already been infected. People could themselves say, once you have been infected, you're going to be all right for the next 3 months. So you could give a chance to another, simple things like these. The other thing is that if you have been infected and you receive, if you have been infected and you receive the first shot of the vaccine, then you're going to have antibody titers which are going to be good for 3 to 6 months from now. So you won't probably need the second shot of the vaccine. That's what most studies show. These simple technical things. The other thing which you said, like the Sputnik Light vaccine, even one vaccine dose has almost all these vaccines, whether you count the protein subunit vaccine or the adenovirus vaccines. Even one dose is known to have a 50 to 60% protection rate and definitely mortality. So one vaccine, and you can go on with the other one. You can postpone it by like an adenovirus vaccine by 8 to 10 weeks. So that's also going to be fine.
But
yes, Radhi.
Let me come back though to the logistical nightmare that lies ahead. Dr. Trehan, you're talking about redesigning it. Let me just throw you some numbers. A press statement of the Government of India dated May 3rd tells us that the center will receive 18.4 crore doses from Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech over May, June and July. This amounts to 20 lakh doses a day. I'm quoting from an article today in the Express. As a result, states and private hospitals together will have only 8 to 10 lakh doses per day left. That's 50-50. And remember, we have 29 states and union territories which will all have to get it. Plus, you have the external commitments, contracts with private hospitals. I mean, at the end of the day, the problem is the demand is going to far outweigh the supply going into July and August. We are one of the few countries where the infections are rising at the moment while vaccinations are reducing. So while you say redesign and go back to the basics, the sheer logistical challenge is what worries me, Dr. Trehan.
So you are questioning the old system, which the only deficiency in the old system was that not enough vaccines were available to bring it down to 18. The rest of the system was working quite nicely. There were, if you saw, there were really no complaints. It was ironed out very nicely. Okay, now if there were some deficiencies in it, of course they can be tweaked. But the point is now, if the government and with its machinery is finding a logistical nightmare, which you call, what would happen if you throw it out in the market with such shortages? Black market will start. We are already being offered vaccines by people who may have cornered it at a higher price. So it's a market dynamics. Whenever there is demand outpaces supply, there is going to be a disruption in the marketplace. So orderly, we keep going.
No, my point is, should we be considering compulsory licensing, mass production, and procuring it directly from manufacturers and provide it free of cost to everyone? Why commercialize it? Provide it free of cost to everyone.
So there are, look, yeah, you know, banners don't work. Actualities work. So if you're going to have a meaningful debate, we must look at the real stuff. What is the reality? The reality is today we are producing 7 crore shots a month. With Sputnik coming in, and I don't have full visibility into there, but there is a promise that by the end of this month, the 7 crores will go up to 9 to 10 crores a month. Okay. Now, what are the things we can do to supplement that? One is to encourage the present manufacturers to ramp up. That, I think they have been given now financial assistance to move forward as fast as possible. Second is to say, scour the world for where are the stockpiles which we can access at whatever price. Because to supplement this need, if people who can afford 1,500 rupees and they can take away the burden from the government to vaccinate everybody else, then so be it. If Johnson & Johnson is willing to pay, and I'm not sure, does anybody have data that there are stockpiles somewhere? We keep talking about it. There is how much has the United States done? Its population is 1/4 of ours. They still have not been able to complete it, although they started 2 months ahead of us. So it's easy to be armchair general and give lectures on TV and give lectures and seminars. Look at the reality. The government has a huge task on its hands with 100.
So the reality, Dr. Trehan, is we are, sir, we can be armchair critics, but reality is that we are vaccinating fewer people in the first week of May compared to the first week of April. And that's shocking.
Exactly what my point is. You're making my point. My point is just that by disrupting the system and throwing it open like that, I mean, I would like to use some other words, but I will not. The point is, the poor people, the people who cannot have access, people who are weaker in the system will be deprived. And I'm fighting for the equity of it. I am saying we should have an equitable distribution from everybody down to the last man on the ground. Whether it takes long, how we increase the supplies, but no matter what it is, even if you have 100, let's distribute it properly to everybody in this country. Why should it be hogged up by anybody who can give a big check and say, I can take it, so let the rest go to wherever they are going.
Okay.
It's not the right policy for India. It is going to create a huge problem. Yeah, I'm saying this very clearly. That we need to go back to the drawing board. We already have an existing system. If they need to add to it, we will add to it. But let's take a second look at it.
Okay.
What's wrong?
What's your point?
What's wrong with that?
Okay.
If my point was clear,
I think in a sense you.
Rajeev, 1 minute.
Yes.
I'm saying what I'm saying is theoretical. Yes. It has already been proven on the ground that the number of vaccinations have gone to half. I raised this voice before also, that this is not going to be good for anybody. It will be bad for the medical profession. We will be blamed. It will be bad for the state governments. It will be bad for the central government, and bad for the morale of the people who are on the fringe. Why should we deprive anybody? Their life and the rich man's life is the same. It's the same value.
I think we've run. I think you made your point very strongly, as have all our panelists. The time has come to relook the system, course correct, redesign. We need to ramp up our vaccination drive at the very earliest, even though there are, of course, difficulties that lie ahead. Thank you all very much for that extremely educative discussion on the big challenge that faces India's COVID fight. And there is another challenge that I want to come to in a moment, and that's the challenge of how do you avoid